Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. And to all of my non-Muslim people here, how's it going? My name is Jamila. I am a convert of 9 months and 3 days. And in case you were wondering, yes, I'm white, which might be unexpected to some of you, I know. But anyways, I kind of have a history that a lot of you probably wouldn't expect a Muslim to have. I'm a former supermodel and also a former drug addict. And I was born and raised born-again Christian. Both my parents are pastors. And all my childhood growing up, I tried really hard to connect with Christianity, and I just never really could. The whole Trinity idea never really made sense to me. And so I had a lot of questions growing up about Christianity and things like that. I guess you could say that perhaps because my parents pushed it on me so hard, a lot like what you went through. I went to church 3 times a week and did the whole thing. It kind of pushed me away, and I rebelled pretty bad when I grew up. And so left home when I was 17, started modeling, and when I was 20 years old, I became addicted to methamphetamine. And I started doing it because I figured if you're the skinniest model, you'll be the most successful model. But that's not necessarily the case, and it ended up ruining my life for 5 years. I did it day and night for 5 years, and basically, when you get into something like that, it brings you to a complete place of rock bottom. And a lot of people turn to religion once they hit a place like that. And I tried to turn to Christianity, and I tried with everything that I had to connect with it. I really honestly did. I couldn't feel it for some reason. A few years later, we all know what happened with 9/11. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but after 9/11, there was a major increase in people converting to Islam because people became curious about it because of the hatred that was going on, and it drew people's curiosity to find out, well, why are people hating Muslims so much? Same thing happened to me. It took me until last summer, until it finally clicked with me, until I finally saw and read what I needed to see, to finally get the connection. And the connection with it was, Islam is not what people think it is. A lot of people think that it bases itself on oppression, it bases itself on anger towards other people, other religions, things like that. That couldn't be further from the truth. Women are not oppressed in Islam. In case any of you don't know this, we are far from oppressed. We are extremely independent, educated. It is part of our religion for our husbands to take good care of us, to treat us well. And there are a lot of extremists out there. There are extremists in every religion. For some reason, people like to focus on Islamic extremists, but that's the way some people are. So I think with the misconception that people have and trying to impose this idea that Muslims are these evil, angry people, it's causing more people to be drawn to Islam because it's people want to know why they want to hate what they hate. And when you start going online and you actually start reading the real things about Islam, not just the hatred and the things that are happening, people blowing people up, things like that, you get exposed to this whole different side of a religion that is based on peace and love and caring for one another. And being raised as a Christian, I had some morals instilled in me throughout my entire life that Christian values are very similar to Islamic values. Most people don't expect that. We love our neighbors. We focus on helping and loving other people. And, the Ten Commandments, pretty much, same thing. So we all believe that Jesus was a part of our religion. We believe a little bit differently. And I think that's what connected with me the most was the fact that Jesus did exist. Jesus was a part of of the religion, just as it was with Christianity. However, it wasn't a trinity. It was the fact that there is one God. There's one God. There is no other God, no other entity that stands alongside with him. It's him by himself. And once I got that, there was no question in my mind that Islam was the truth. Now that I've converted and become a Muslim, my life has completely changed. I was one of those kind of people where I had the lifestyle that anybody in California, wherever in the world, might want to have. I had tons of notoriety. I was famous. I could go anywhere I wanted to go, do anything I wanted to do. I did things that people here couldn't even dream of doing. And, it never fulfilled me. I always had this hole that no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much money I had, no matter how many drugs I did, no matter how famous I got and how many people said they loved me, it still was there. And there was never this peace. There was never this feeling of peace. And, when I converted, I chose to walk away from everything. I walked away from the entire lifestyle that had supported me since I was 17 years old. And giving that up, most people would expect that to be really hard. But it wasn't. It wasn't, because what I replaced it with was real. And it was peace, and it was truth. And it's given me the opportunity to see life through eyes that Islam has given me everything I ever wanted in my heart. And I am so grateful to God that He took me to a place where I could find Him. Because without Islam, I'd still be so sad. I'd still be so miserable. You guys don't understand that kind of pain that you can have from putting yourself out there and trying to sell yourself to a world who doesn't care about you. When you search for something, when you search for love, and you do everything you can to get the world to love you by putting yourself out there and selling your face, selling your personality, and selling everything about yourself, and people reject that, it makes you question yourself. It makes you question your life and why you're here. And if I hadn't been brought to that place, if I hadn't questioned my life like that and been so unhappy, I don't even know what to say, you guys. I really don't. I totally came in here unprepared and just figured I would speak from the heart. And so this is what you're getting. And I know it's a little off topic and kind of all over the place, but I can't stress to you enough how real Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and the change that He's done for me in my life and my heart. So, thank you. Alright, I guess it's my turn again. I kind of went over this already with you guys a little bit, but to be more specific, what sparked my interest to Islam is my dad, as you all know, is a Christian pastor. He's also a biker. He rides in a Christian bike gang. I know, kind of strange, right? But they do like rallies against Muslims, like the Yorba Linda thing. My dad was there. And his hatred towards Islam is really what sparked my interest. I wanted to know, why does my dad hate these Muslims so much that he's willing to take his entire Saturday, drive all the way out to Yorba Linda, and stand there with this sign and shout at these people when they're doing a fundraiser. Like, it's not like they're trying to blow somebody up. They're trying to raise money to help the homeless and to help beaten, oppressed women. So I researched it, and I found a website called whyislam.org. And that's where I really found the answers for the questions that I had. They were very specific answers. They were very concrete. They showed me the thing about Islam where it's a perfect combination of scientific facts and spirituality. And when I saw that, I was hooked. It made complete sense. It's amazing. So thank you to my dad for hating Muslims, because if it weren't for him and everyone else who hates us, then I probably wouldn't have started looking into it. So yeah, all right.
Okay, I'm answering. What sparked my interest in Islam? It's a long story, but I guess I would say it was mainly just my upbringing in Christianity that just kind of had me asking questions. Like I said, I got in a lot of trouble in Saturday school for asking just questions. I remember asking my mother, and she bought me a lot of biblical books with pictures, and I remember I was looking at a depiction of Noah's Ark with all the animals, and they were all in their pairs. And, it's kind of a funny story, but I was maybe about, 6, 7, and I remember asking my mom, don't laugh at me, I thought unicorns were real. And I was asking my mom why there wasn't unicorns on Noah's Ark, and I was a little bit upset about that. So she broke it to me and told me that they weren't real. And it's hard. It was hard. So anyways, they weren't real, and she basically told me that, if you're a good girl and you go to heaven, then, who knows, maybe you can ask God for one. And I was like, yeah, that's great. So I kind of got to thinking, why aren't we asking Jesus for the unicorn? Like, we talk about him all the time at church. How come I don't ask Jesus for a unicorn? Why are we asking God? Because they're two separate people, and there's a Father, there's a Son, there's a Holy Spirit. So why aren't I asking Jesus? So, just growing up, those just things like that just stuck in my head. It just, Jamila was saying, the Trinity just kind of never really made sense to me. They have the theory of an egg and the yolk and the white and the apple and the seed, but what if there's multiple seeds? What if there's 2 yolks? I wasn't having it. So as I got a little bit older, more specifically when it came to Barack Obama's presidential, when he was running for president, just hearing all this stuff just being spewed in the media about, Muslims and Barack Hussein Obama, he's a Muslim, and I was just like, what's the big deal? What is a Muslim? And I had Muslim friends, but I didn't even know you guys were Muslim, and they weren't practicing, they weren't practicing at all. And then Ramadan was coming up, so, they were starting to shape up, and, they couldn't go out as much, and they couldn't go to the hookah bar anymore, and, it was Ramadan. So I was just like, what is that? What is Ramadan? They're like, and I had Christian Muslim friends, Arab Christian friends, and Arab Muslim friends. So the Muslims were, just talking about, how they have to fast and how they don't eat from sunrise till sunset, and I just thought it was pretty interesting. And I was like, oh, you guys fast too? Yeah, Christians, we fast too. And so we would just get into conversations about it. And I remember one time I was having a discussion with my friend about just religion and faith and God and Jesus. And, I remember she was asking me, oh, when you pray, who do you pray to? And I said, oh, I pray to Jesus. And she was like, well, why? She wasn't trying to badger me or anything. She was just curious, what's your, reason behind that? And I didn't really know how to respond. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Whenever I pray, I ask Jesus to, help me with this or whatever issue I'm having. And she was like, well, why don't you just ask God? And when she said that, I remembered my childhood, and I remembered how, even as a child, I asked myself that question, why don't we ask God? Why are we asking Jesus? And it was then that, with everything going on in the media, and it was just curiosity, really. And long story short, I got a copy of the Quran, an English translation of it, and I started reading. And I started reading, and I kept reading and reading. I could not stop reading. It was amazing.